if you looked at the title and looked at my thumbnail, then you clearly see where I'm going at. Uh, that's a thumbnail of single white female. Great, excellent movie, right? Great, excellent movie. And what happened in that movie was this. What happened was um, she allowed somebody in their home and and that individual tried to become them. Now, the reason why we are making this video today is because you should not be letting people in your home. Even if somebody come with a story and say they need to be there temporarily. I did a video yesterday that said in the state of California, guess what? If a person is there for 3 days, then that person becomes a tenant of your home and now you must evict that individual. How astounding, right? All right. So, first of all, this video is sponsored by CyberGhost. Get your CyberGhost VPN, protect your online privacy. Now, you see the link the in the comment. You could copy and paste and get your own. Since 2011, CyberGhost has offered virtual private network services. The business was first established in Romania, but Cape Technologies, a publicly traded cybersecurity company, has subsequently purchased it. So you can learn more about this company in the future. So we're going to talk about some different circumstances on how people have been robbed of their home. Right? Let's start here. This is I have been living in my van while a deadbeat renter Airbnbs my home for $4,000 a month. He's making profit while I'm homeless. In Rainier, Washington, one man and his dog are living out his van while his renter Airbnbs out part of his home without paying rent. This is Roth has been made to live out his van because his tenant has stopped paying rent, and evicting them will take nearly a year. And when I was just having a conversation with a good friend of mine, he was astounded and he did not understand the magnitude of how these crooks will take over your dwelling. These people don't care. In the state of California, if you let a person in your house past 3 days, they become a tenant and you will have to evict them. But evicting a person costs money. It's not $5, $6. The squatting laws are not, it's the people learn, I'm tongue twisted. I can't get it out. They know the law so good until they know how to get over on you. Jason Roth is looking at nearly $50,000 in losses as he pays for utilities and the mortgage on his rented out house while is bringing in no rental income. He claims that he is owed 5 months of back rent with a current total of $29,000 because his tenant has stopped paying. These deadbeat renters, and we're going to talk about more of these people, are ransacking people's lives. It's frustrating, extremely frustrating. It's something I can't fully wrap my head around, said Ralph to local news KIRO. The landlord claims he tried to engage in a payment plan with his tenant, which the occupant signed and paid $1,000 on, but nothing more. The cherry on the top of the situation is that Roth's tenant is renting out the bottom unit of the house on Airbnb for $434. Roth is estimating that his delinquent renter makes anywhere between 2,000 to and 4,000 of his subletting scheme. Okay, so not only is he not paying me, he's generating the income through the basement Airbnb unit, and meanwhile, I'm having to pay the utilities for that unit. Is playing Jason. An Airbnb spokesperson said that the company requires hosts to have permission to rent out their spaces. Issues like the experience reported are very rare. That's a lie. That's not true because there have been other cases of people who go in Airbnbs and they do not move out. And we will prove some of that possibly in this video. If not, I will make a second video showcasing how I'll bring back up this case and showcase how other Airbnbs, how people refuse to move out homes because they know the law. And following the investigation, we removed the listing from the platform in early August. They explained. Continuing, all hosts on Airbnb must certify that they have permission to list their space. And in the event a concern is reported to us, we investigate and take appropriate action. The renter received a short-term rental lease from the city in order to operate the Airbnb, but did so under false pretense. This is a career criminal. The lease this individual has is not valid because it was obtained using inaccurate information about ownership of the property, said a city official. The city is investigating more of the ill-gotten permit. It's not just the money that is getting to Roth. Living out a van is no easy task. It makes me feel all kinds of different emotions. I mean, extreme sadness, anger, physical discomfort because of where I'm living, said Roth. Continuing, I do come here often just to look at my house and miss it and wish I could be in it. It's frustrating, extremely frustrating. It's something I can't fully wrap my head around. Roth explained on the emotions the ordeal has brought about. Since the payment plan fell through, the frustrated landlord has begun formal eviction steps. It takes around 1 year for the full eviction process to complete, meaning that Roth is on the hook for his expenses without having access to his own home. Why does it take a full year to get a person out your house? I'm on my own, which to me might be the worst part because there's always going to be people who abuse the system and scam. But the city should be there to recognize when that's happening. And nobody's been able to provide me with any tangible assistance, anything significant, said the distressed landlord. King County courts hear 6 cases a day, 4 days a week, giving reason to the long wait that Roth is meant to endure. So they hear 6 cases a day for 4 cases a week. So basically, he needs to stand in line. He needs to stand in line. All right, so let's talk about our next case. Let's talk about our next case. Serial squatter strikes again, threatening to leave Raleigh woman homeless. These people are ruthless. It was the perfect first home for Jessica Jessica and Colin Davis, a 4-bedroom with a pool on a quiet corner of Raleigh. But 6 months later, Jessica's job unexpectedly transferred to Florida, forcing them to move. All right. The Davises didn't want to sell, so they decided to rent to a woman they knew as Ray's Rabba. Davis says she met her through Zillow rental program. They identified her, they verified her, her records came out clean, said Davis. Davis said Robbo asked to move in few days early, saying the hotel she and her son were staying at was unsafe. And this is how they get you. This is how they get you. They do have their first month rent and they show up with money. They don't show up empty handed. But these people have no intention to go past that point. The deposit and first month's rent payment showed as pending online. So David said yes. But a few days later, the checks bounced. The bank said the payments were made from a closed account. Davis said after days of getting around from Robbo, Heather Schaub. Wait a minute. What's going on here? Oh boy. Oh boy. Here we go. All right. All right. So let's see. All right, I'm alive and living color. I'm alive and living color. Where am I? Right here. So basically, we're at the point where she lied. All right. Heather Schaub. It was the name on the first message David received through Zillow. When she asked her renter about it, David said she told, "Oh no, that's just my friend's name. I'm using her Zillow account." Right? She's using her renter account. But Davis kept digging. You know, ladies are the best detectives on earth. That's when she found CBS Texas reports from 2017 to 2018 detailing that many evictions of Heather and William Schaub. At the time, several homeowners said that the couple was exploiting the eviction process to live rent free. One attorney had dubbed them serial squatters, saying the Schaubs knew more about eviction laws than many lawyers. Mm, mm, mm. Weeks after our report, Heather Schaub moved to Colorado, quickly racking up two more evictions. Landlords contacted police who arrested Schaub for felony theft. She was sentenced to 6 years in prison, but served just 16 months after being released in 2020. So she is ruthless, baby. She don't care about prison. Shaw moved into Davis's home in late July without any rental income. Davis says she can't afford to pay the mortgage and her own rent. I was like, I'm going to lose my house. That's the first thing. I'm going to lose my house. Davis is now moving out her apartment and in with family to help save money. Davis said she called police and the Dallas County District Attorney, all to be said it was a civil issue, not a criminal one. She's getting away with this, and nobody besides you guys wants to hear about it, right? We reach out to the Raleigh police, who told us they would take a second look at the matter. When we visited the home in Raleigh, no one came to the door. Later the same day, we saw two detectives drive up and knock on the front door. No one answered, but 1 hour after they left, we saw Heather Schaub and a young man walk out the front door. Our phone calls to Schaub have gone to voicemail, and numbers Davis said she called for references are no longer working. Meanwhile, Davis has started the eviction process and even shut off the water. Days later, the city of Raleigh turned it back on after receiving an application from Heather Rubal. But when the city noticed problems with the application, off it went again. With the laws in place to protect renters in eviction cases backlog, Davis has discovered kicking out a serial squatter isn't easy. She's now fighting for her home, frustrated that there's not more help available. Why is Texas protecting her? Because she did this once or twice in Colorado and they put her in prison. A spokesperson for the Raleigh Police Department tells CBS News Texas that the department is investigating. Zillow sent us the following statement. Zillow strives to provide a safe online platform for renters and landlords, including connecting landlords with third-party providers who can help them thoroughly vet rental applications using credit and background checks as well as eviction histories. We prohibit any user from impersonating another person or operating under false pretenses. We take our such behavior seriously and do not tolerate it on our platform. So you can say whatever you want to, right? You can say whatever you want to, but what you clearly see is what? This lady is doing what she wants to do. She's doing what she wants to do.
Yeah, get this. Davis believes Schwab is using her relative's name and social security number to pass background checks. We did find a law in Texas making it illegal to use false information to obtain property. We asked the Raleigh Police Department, isn't that what's happening here? Well, they have opened an investigation now to see if that is the case.
I mean, my mouth fell open like 3 times watching this story. I have to take myself back, though, to one part. The woman in the story who owns the house, she says she met this renter through Zillow. So you think, okay, that's a reputable company. They verified her. Did they have any reaction to this?
Well, you know, it does look like Raise Rubel is a real person, and all this vetting is done online through a third party. Zillow says it connects landlords to third party services for this vetting potential renters.
We just read that. So let's get to the next case because it gets better, right? It gets better. Let's come back. Let's get back to the next case. It gets better. These squatters, baby, they don't care nothing about you or your family. All they care about is themselves. Now, I did briefly speak about this case here. And actually, in this case, we're going to touch on it briefly. And this young lady actually won her case. But the reason why I'm touching back on it, because actually she won her case. She went to the military after she'd been in she's Army Reserves. She was called up. She went to Florida. So she rented out her place. And when she rented out her place, what happened was the lady checked out. She came with her money. She was driving a Mercedes, I believe. And so let's read briefly this. But like I said, I did a whole video about this. When Micaiah Barber signed up to serve in the U.S. Army, reserved. She never imagined her biggest battle would be over her own home. One person has cost me over $50,000, the 26-year-old first lieutenant said. It's been emotionally draining to the point where I have had therapy. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Barbara was just 25 years old last fall when she purchased a modest town home located off of Highway 288 and the South Beltway. She posted joyous photos on her Facebook page, while her mother proudly showed off for decorating her daughter's home. Shortly thereafter, Barbara said she was called up for active duty in Florida, and that's when she decided to put her home up for rent. Barbara found a tenant, Natasha Timmons. She ran a background check. Do this sound familiar? It sound familiar, right? The last person did the same thing, right? When she did that background check, what happened? Everything basically worked out. All right. Timmons signed a lease. The rent on the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom home was $2,000 a month. Timmons paid for 2 months, but that's it. So basically, she paid for $4,000. Then it started going downhill. Barbara said, I tried to make a payment plan for her. Then she started threatening me to file bankruptcy and making sure I go through this process. Court records show Timmons had left a conviction had a theft conviction back in 2003. More recently, she has had filed 4 identical bankruptcy cases. 2 filings came after she moved into Barbara's home, so she did file bankruptcy. Despite Despite declaring bankruptcy, neighbors show ABC 13 video of Timmons and others in the home driving luxury cars, even washing the vehicles in their driveway. In the driveway. So she's a bold crook, right? Timmons on Monday appeared for a hearing via Zoom, while Barbara appeared in person at the Harris County Court, number 3, in downtown Houston. Timmons told the judge that she no longer had any bankruptcy cases. The judge then ordered that she begin paying back rent right away. The judge also set a hearing for Monday, September 18th at 1:30, where Timmons may be slapped with an eviction. Well, let's say this. ABC 13 tried talking to Timmons on Tuesday after the court hearing. She answered the door but quickly slammed it when Eyewitness News began asking questions. She's living in the house and making it known she's not leaving my house. But I'm excited for Monday's hearing, and she will leave after the latest court hearing. Despite 9 years in the Army Reserve, Barbara says she was unprepared from the complexities and legal hurdles involved in getting a squatter out of the house she owns. Well, that just speeded up when she had the next court case. Timmons didn't show up. She moved out of the home, and now she has her home again. All right, let's talk about another case. Fairly big problem. Squatters invade homes and refuse to leave. How is this legal? Well, we in the great state of Texas. All right. In Texas, a homeowner says she was locked out of a house by a squatter who claimed to have a lease after moving to the state with their family. The woman previously had been evicted from 3 other homes. In Maryland, a woman returned from vacation to find 2 squatters in her bed. They were not only living in her house, but also sold about $50,000 of her furniture. It is a pattern being played out in many cities in the United States. It is also common in Europe. While squatting has become a political movement, with support from the left. Some squatters enter legally and then just say in Long Island, New York, what is that? Garmrit Hanspo, 52, has not paid mortgage for 25 years. The mortgage was foreclosed, but the company that now owns the home has struggled for decades to evict Hanspo, who continues to change lawyers and file lawsuits to delay proceedings. I think squatting is a fairly big problem, and I think it's pretty hard to avoid. Jim Burling, Vice President of Legal Affairs for the Pacific Legal Foundation. In New York, a woman moved into a rabbi's home and refused to leave. In the case of Rabbi Meyer Leifer, 90, he simply gave Rosalie Moskowitz, 67, a place to live when she found herself temporarily homeless during the pandemic. She then just stayed and refused to leave. Moskowitz. All right, testing, 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 testing. Come on now, testing, testing, testing. All right. Prosecutors and politicians play a critical role in these scams. Local authorities have done little to assist homeowners for a variety of reasons. From political calculations to negligence, instead, they force landowners to go into overtaxed housing courts with notoriously slow dockets. It often takes months or years to get an eviction order. The resulting lack of deterrence is evident in the brazen attitude of the criminals. A retired Tyree friend of mine was away from a home in Sarasota, Florida, when a squatter moved in and refused to leave. The woman falsely claimed that she had a lease and trashed the home. Eventually, she was arrested but promptly released. She then returned and stole my friend's car. The police said there was likely little that would happen to the squatter. So you see the role that the police have in these cases. This is why I say America have a squatting issue. The police have a serious role in some of these cases because they don't do a lot to these individuals. And let's do the final one. This is the final one that we're going to do. All right. This is theft. A Sacramento couple fell prey to serial squatters who refused to pay rent for 9 months. Three better ways to invest in real estate without trials of being a landlord. A Sacramento, California couple has fallen prey to a pair of professional squatters who lived rent free in their property for 9 months before leaving it in a state of despair. When mom and pop landlords Skip and Karen rented their Fair Oaks home to Ann and Mario. I didn't say the last names on purpose because honestly, you got to know how to pronounce it. Who provided all the required documents. This is what these people do. They do identity theft, the cops look the other way. They bounce checks, cops look the other way. Including a credit report and a 401k statement, these people are crooks. They handed Skip and Karen over the keys, and then Ann and Mario, right? Ann and Mario has been a problem ever since. From September to December, the tenants were late paying their rent due to the alleged deaths and a serious illness in their family. They stopped paying rent altogether before Christmas. Stuck paying the mortgage on the investment property out of their own pockets, um, the couple reached out to a real estate agent, Gary Meek, for help. He told ABC 10 he's had hours of conversations with Karen, frustrated, upset, and crying. Unfortunately, there are criminals out there that are amazing talent, education for bad, Meek added. An opinion backed up by property manager Barry Mathis, hired by the Sacramento couple, hired to help them evict Ann and Mario, who described the squatters as professional deadbeat tenants who have learned to play the game. Right? Don't see the landlords as victims. Until further investigation, ABC 10 found that what are they? Skip and Karen. No, I'm sorry. Ann and Mario had squatted at least 8 houses in Sacramento alone. Some just blocks from each other before uh, uh, targeting this couple. Former victim Tari Gunn told a news outlet they used the same deaths in the family excuses to live rent free on their property for months. She reflected on the time and money she had to spend to evict them. I just incurred so many financial issues. It was really hard. Property manager Mathis blamed California's legal system for enabling squatters by making eviction such a difficult and costly process. So you see what's going on with so much in victims' rights, but in this case, they don't see the landlords as a victim. He said Mathis believes the law treats landlords like they're all massive corporate entities with endless funds, when in fact, mom and pop landlords own and manage about 70% of small rental properties in the US. So, um, like I said again, this is a sad set of circumstances. America has a squatting problem. People don't want to really speak about that, but it's the truth. We're going to stay on top of these videos, these type of videos rather. And this is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Remember that this video has been sponsored by CyberGhost. The link is there. You can copy and paste, and you can look at CyberGhost if you're interested in having your own VPN. This is Antonio with Team Tiggio. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you next time.